Schoolgirls for sale in
Japan
Japan.
has an incredible tolerance for the sexual exploitation of young girls.
If somebody asked you what your job description was, what would you tell them?
女子高生とお話ができるお店。
なんかそこから軽い気持ちで始めたら、どんどんヒートアップしちゃったって感じです。
売る少女が悪いっていうような考え方が根底にはあります、残念ながら。買う大人と売る大人がいなくならない限りはこの問題はなくならないでしょう。
Hello Forsen and chat. May I share a word ale if knowledge with you? Never scratch your anus with white underwear after eating Mexican food. Have a good day.
Fuck you, chat. Get out of life. SQC. Idea. H.
Alright. Thanks for the life hack.
This is the Akihabara neighborhood in central Tokyo, and it's ground zero for JK, which is what the Japanese
JK
call
rolling.
schoolgirl culture. Schoolgirls are actually a really big business in Japan. They sell everything, including cartoons, comic books, they pack music venues, they advertise cafes and restaurants, but you may not have known that you can actually also buy the schoolgirls themselves. JK stands for Joshi Kusei, or high school girl, and along this strip, they're everywhere. Not shopping or hanging out like schoolgirls in Tokyo typically do.
Oh, the
selling
voice
various
inside my head.
services.
I haven't
Everything
said
from
no
Forsen-
further links. So here, I give myself a link. That is so funny. I will do it again in 3 hours. Forsen.
Telling to massages, to a walk with a client around the neighborhood. All this is being sold in the open and under the constant watch of a group of men who appear to be the girls' bosses. Before long, one of them comes over and demands we stop filming. But this is a public street, right?
Yeah.
So why can't we film on a public street? I don't understand.
We're saying that we could shoot that way. That way.
We can shoot that way. But he's making out like he owns the street.
He said.
未成年はダメなんだよ。
So they're saying like, just don't shoot the girl.
There's clearly more going on beneath the surface, and we were determined to find out what we could. So we dropped into one of the busiest JK businesses we could find around here, one of several music venues where pop groups made up of school-age girls played at packed houses most nights. All right, well, we're gonna find out about...
I mean, I feel like a lot of these girls could be 20 plus, but just put on schoolgirl uniforms, right? They're just selling the idea of a schoolgirl. They're not necessarily like fucking 15 or whatever. Because he said that they're underage. But I don't think they're actually underage. I think that's just like an image they want to...
JK culture in Japan. This is one of the JK bands. Hi, my name's Simon. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. アキシブプロジェクトです。よろしくお願いします。よろしくお願いします。
The room is full of men, and many look to be years older than the performers, and they know the set list by heart. JK fans usually have a favorite girl, and they're fiercely devoted to her. Some even pay money for a chance at a little FaceTime after the show. I guess this is an opportunity for all of the fanboys to get to know the band a little bit better. They can buy Polaroid pictures of them. They can meet them and speak with them. It's pretty innocent when it's just teenagers meeting teenagers, but that guy's a little bit older.
You have this woman who is your fantasy, and you have an opportunity to meet her. But it doesn't seem real unless you actually touch the flesh. So that's part of the deal. I mean, you actually get close enough to her, get a scent of her, look into her eyes, and it perpetuates the fantasy.
Jake Adelstein has spent more than 20 years reporting on Japan's underworld for Japanese and American press outlets, including Vice News.
This is called Dogenzaka. The name Zaka means hill. This is called Love Hotel Hill.
He's also on the board of the Polaris Project, a nonprofit that helps victims of human trafficking.
So when the JK are taking their Osan for a little bit more than a stroll, this is probably where they're going to wind up.
He's tracked the evolution of JK culture from its relatively benign beginnings to a dark and lucrative business.
So how old is JK specifically, the schoolgirl culture?
This issue of like young girls being paid by men to spend time with them first really came up in the 90s, and the term was called enjo kosai, which means compensated dating. So there would be older men that would spend money for girls to walk with them or talk with them because I guess they're lonely. Not every single guy who is paying money to spend time with a young girl wants to sleep with her or is a pervert. I would say maybe 70, 80%, but I don't know.
So do you think that a lot of these girls are being exploited?
This is the tough part. There's a real gray zone there. Obviously, some of the girls are being exploited. The problem with the whole Osanto no Sampo, walking with these old guys, is the opportunities for that to turn into something really nasty are manifold.
How much of it is organized by criminal groups? Is it something that's sort of naturally done by the girls themselves? They go out and find these dates? Or is there a network profiting from the schoolgirl business?
There's no single network, but you have isolated cases of saying, a group of individuals starting with one girl, collecting sort of a harem of girls and working them on the streets. I mean, there's many, many variations. It's a business opportunity, and it can be a form of human trafficking, as the State Department indicated in their last white paper on it.
The report, an annual review of human trafficking in Japan, singled out the JK walking dates, saying they are often fronts for underage prostitution.
So do you think that there's something that the government needs to do to rein the schoolgirl culture in? Is it getting out of hand?
You could sort of encourage education that would let women think of themselves as something other than sexual merchandise to be purchased by men. Part of the reason that you have this sort of Lolita culture in Japan is because the life and the opportunities for women are so bad. It's a hard thing to stop. This society is one of the most misogynist, sexist societies in a developed country in the world. I would not want to be a woman here.
Tokyo police only recently began raiding JK businesses that were fronts for prostitution. But many say the raids are largely for show. In walking around the Akihabara neighborhood, it seems like the news story should be about how many JK businesses are still open for business. We stopped by one, a tiny storefront on a busy street with suggestive pictures posted in the window. Nothing remarkable in a neighborhood full of places like this. But we wanted to see what an average JK business looked like on the inside. Shoes off, slippers on. They've got Hello Kitties on them.
I think you're supposed to take the male ones.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi. Thank you. Apparently I can chat for half an hour for 3,000 yen, which is like $30. And we can also do fortune telling.
じゃあレモンティーになります。
Thank you.
はい、どうぞ。
It's very kind. Okay, so what's next on the menu?
占いがあるんですけど、恋愛が あらゆる方法を駆使してアプローチするでしょうって書いてあるんですけど、長所が優れた直感力がある、態度はクールでも心優しいって書いてあります。
Okay, that's true.
本当ですか？心優しいですね。
This is a really uncomfortable experience. What other sort of things besides the
no shit, she can hear
fortune
you say
telling
that. She's
is on the
sitting right
menu?
there. Of course it's gonna be
お話
uncomfortable.
してるんですけど、
What sort of questions do your other clients usually ask you?
なんか
She can't speak English. She probably
世
understands.
間話とか、何でも楽しければ。
While we were talking, there was another rent-a-date going on across the room. With a hidden camera, we were able to listen in, but the conversation was pretty mundane. But it's hard to overlook the very creepy fact that an adult man has paid for the company of an attractive schoolgirl. And JKs often think they're agreeing to an innocent chat, when their employers and clients expect something entirely different.
これはまあお散歩の時にたまに。
And that's your actual uniform which you wore to school as well.
これで学校行ってました。
That's what happened to this young woman, who agreed to speak with us on the condition that we concealed her identity. How old were you when you started
The age of consent in Japan is 13. What the fuck?
?16 歳の高校。
I mean, sure. That doesn't mean it's legal for someone 18 plus to have sex with a 13-year-old. I hope you understand that.
2年生の頃です。
What was your home
That's not how
situation like?
age of
Why do you
consent
think
works.
you decided to get involved when you were just 16 years old?
なんかその時はなんかお母さんがあんまり精神状態が良くなくて、で家族も仲があんま良くなくて、それでなんか居場所がないっていうか、その秋葉原に出勤する時にビラ配りっていうのをするんですけど、なんかその日常生活のことをなんか忘れられるって感じです。
So you understood that you were supposed to walk with these men, but you thought that that was all you had to do.
なんかそこから軽い気持ちで始めたら、どんどんヒートアップしちゃったって感じです。なんか
A musician in my country, when he was 40, he had sex with a 14-year-old in his face now.
その交渉して決めるオプションって感じで、それはその胸を触らせてなんかお金もらうとか、その男の人をなんか抜くっていうか、抜くっていうか。
When you were under the age of 18, did you ever take money for having sex with these guys?
それはあります。
そうですね。夜の街を歩いて。
Well, I mean, not shocking.
We've got to celebrate our differences.